Martha here, and this is Watch and Learn. We watch films and
teach English. Brew a cuppa. We're about to start. Hello, Watch and Learners. So Arthur and Xenia here again. Hi.
Hi.
And we've come with the last episode for the season.
Hey.
Amazing. Yeah. It's been a while since the 1st of March.
Yes,
But we've come to, we're here. And as you can already see from the title, obviously, we've come here with the fresh work, the fresh project by Wes Anderson, the director that I loved.
But not anymore? Okay.
I'll elaborate later. And to my surprise, Xenia doesn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised at myself too. But yeah.
So I'm not sure, if we should talk about him in general. He's a pretty, he's that kind of director, I think, which is mainstream, but not mainstream at the same time, right? I mean, a lot of people know about him because he's got this very specific style. If you're listening to us, I think you should know something about him and watched a couple of things I don't know, Budapest Hotel or something like that. And
I think maybe at least say what you like about him or liked, or just a general overview of your of our attitude to this
I think I fell in love with him after, I think it was, I'm not sure, it's Grand Hotel Budapest or Grand Budapest Hotel, I don't remember. Yeah, and I like the style, I like the kind of the direction, I think. And later on, when I would learn about how things are done, I like the production even behind the movies. I mean, how things are done. And the cast is always amazing, even with the fresh project. From the very start of his career, he casts all the best. So,
Can't argue with that, yeah.
He's got his favorite actors, obviously, who's always been there, like Bill Murray. So, I mean, I like the style in general. I mean, I like what he's famous for, his style. But we already discussed that behind the podcast, that something happened to him, to Wes, and he's just got to Wes Anderson. His movies, it's like his focus changed from the story, and before the stories were amazing.
Yeah.
But something happened to him after The French Dispatch, which I loved, which is a anthology of several stories there, right? Almost not connected to each other. And after this, I don't know, his stories got too complicated, and because of this, I think, because of how it's much more difficult to understand the stories, you just see the style, you just see the all this Wes Anderson trademarks, but that's all that you can see, and you don't understand what is going on. Asteroid City, right? It was last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, was the first kind of a hint that something's off with Wes, that he's going somewhere very symmetrical.
Oh, that's true. I haven't thought about it. Yeah.
And so I don't know. I still don't know what to think about the Phoenician Scheme, honestly. I love it and I hate it at the same time, but we'll get there. So the Phoenician Scheme, this year's movie by Wes, with Benicio del Toro in the lead, with Michael Cera, with a little bit of Johansson, with a little bit of Bill Murray, and all the same faces. um, that we saw before in his movies. So let's start with you. What do you think? Just generally.
I think, yeah, I will also say a couple of words what I think of him in general, just as a little intro. The style, yes, I of course understand what it is about because he is all about the style. He's special like thing, yeah, because if you like already it's not just a name, it's something that you can just use to characterize something. Like, I want to have a room that's Wes Andersonish, something like that, yeah. And you already understand like this very very special thing he does with the movies. But for me, I just don't like how it looks, how it is. I don't know. For me, it's cinematographically, it's just not good. It doesn't taste good for me. I mean, I like watching. There was once this kind of trend where people made their own videos. Like, I'm going to walk my dog in Wes Anderson style, something like that. And I saw many reels people doing this. And okay, this was cool. These little videos, how you can arrange your desk, your kitchen, something else, and this is amazing. On the other hand, a movie like that somehow distracts me from the story, from the acting, from everything, and I just keep, you know, paying attention to these, to this, to this style, to it, because it's very very specific, and I only look at this basically. I haven't watched many of his movies, to be honest. At some point, I just realized that this is something I really don't like. And he also has this thing with the actors, with the characters who are um, behaving strangely, but not in my favorite Lantimus's way, but some other way that's for me annoying. Like, they are strange but annoying for me. Yeah. Again, this is my personal opinion here. And then I, yeah, have I didn't really follow. I didn't watch much, and then there was this mm, adaptation of Roald Dahl's short stories by Netflix and by him, and this was such a disappointment for me because I love Roald Dahl. It's a British writer. I love him so much. He wrote some very amazing stuff for children, for adults as well, and his stories like were used by so many directors. We know that, and in general, they are. I mean, Tarantino used one of his stories. Anyway, Wes did an adaptation of some of them, and it was a disaster for me because what was special about these stories was completely destroyed by something happening in these stories. By and the actors are good and everything, but I don't know. So, and this movie, again, I really can't argue about the cast. The cast is amazing. And I believe that actors do that for fun, partially. So they're like, no, okay, I'm gonna. I don't know. I have no proof, but I would feel this way. Like, Wes Anderson is inviting me, and I would definitely, agree because some crazy shit going on. You have to really, like, it's not a serious role, it's something absolutely insane what you have to do in a movie like that. And of course, any actor, I think, would like agree to this bullshit. Like,
Well, it's a challenge, I mean, and it's also, I think, again,
true.
seeing numerous actors, like agreeing to work with him again and again and again for now
Yeah.
at least a couple of decades says something. Like Bill Murray, for example, he's an experienced actor who I think at this point he just can sort of go relax and not work anymore, and he's done already so much that we could understand like if he's like, I'm gonna retire. So probably it just means that it's very comfortable to work with him. Maybe it's challenging, maybe it's
Yeah.
like why I said that I like the direction because of this, like what you mentioned, this strange behavior of the characters, all these mannerisms of the characters. So it just says that the direction is very. It's not like they're given any freedom, and some actors are, they like it when they're just told what to do, or um, given like specific instructions, and being able to show what is supposed to be shown, to act in the way Wes needs. So I'm really not sure if he gives them a lot of freedom there with that. But I haven't watched a lot of interviews about that. So I kind of got lost in what I was supposed to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I was happy to see this young actress who was Sister.
Mia Thrappleton.
Yeah, it's so sweet to see like children of our favorite actors and actresses. She's Kate Winslet's daughter, and it's yeah, kind of cool. I kind of enjoy seeing yeah, like people choosing the same profession as their parent anyway. And I also agree with you about the story. I don't understand what happened in this story. I didn't understand what they were doing, why this was happening, what was going on. The story for me is like, maybe you can explain. Did you do some research or did you understand it yourself?
Well, I had to. No, I didn't at all. I mean, I just watched the story. I kind of understood what is going on if we just talk about the characters, right?
Okay.
But what that all meant, yeah, I had to do research, and it kind of makes sense that it's very difficult to understand what is going on because from one side it's very personal,
As you like it.
and from the other side it's very political.
Okay.
I'm more sure. I mean, it's much more. It's 100% true that it's personal. This is what I'm sure about because Wes talked about that himself. So the main character, Zaza Korda, portrayed by Benicio, he is loosely based on a real person, by the name of Fuad Malouf,
Okay.
who was Wes Anderson's father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Who had died like before they started working on the movie, like a couple of years before. And some of the things, his profession first of all, and some of the things like mannerisms and little details, traits, they got into the Zaza Cordes character and personality. For example, he talks about how Cordes' method of explaining his projects to his daughter, Sister Lizzle, in a way of like showing all the shoe boxes, that was a real thing. Like Wes, I guess, observed that himself, or maybe it was from the, like his wife was the source of this detail.
Okay.
Again, his profession, that Fuad was an engineer and a businessman in the East. So the location is also not accident there. And that, so this is what I know. The story is kind of personal.
All right.
I also, like, from his interview, got a little bit of an impression that maybe it was not that was not an intention, because he said that, like, well, sometimes you just try to make a movie about some historical characters, and some people that you actually know kind of like intervene into the creative process, and that you kind of you make some characters very similar, to people that you actually know. I'm not sure if that's true, to be honest. I think he's just playing with us. I think that was pretty much intentional.
I see.
Considering like the very specific things which are the same between the character and the real person. The political side, it's not my idea. It's an article that I read, and I wouldn't say that I kind of even understood the article very well, because of the level of the kind of the so much politics there. And it's again about some little things in the movie that, from the maps, from the other like little details, you can understand that the movie takes place in an alternative 60s, I believe, maybe earlier. Correct me in the commentary section if you care. And in that world, the Second World War didn't happen, which which led, if we can say so, to the map is different, the geography is different, the political geography is different. In terms of that, again, I don't remember the article very well, so I do not want to say that I'm super correct about this, super accurate about this, but there were like 3 countries, including Israel and 2 others. I'm not sure. Iran probably also. I'm not sure. You can Google these things. They were one country at some point. It was the same territory, and I mean not the same, but like the in its entirety. And this is the geography of the movie. Like the geography, the political geographical situation was like it was before the real World War II, before like the 1949 or something. And according to that article, if I find it again, we will leave on YouTube version. We will leave a link. So
what does it mean for the story?
Yeah, so this is what I'm trying, to kind of to build my thoughts around it. That the symbolism of the movie, the idea of the story, if I can say so, is sort of I don't know. It could be a wishful thinking, because the production of the movie started when the current situation in the East was already unstable.
Yeah.
Actively unstable. Like, we all know what is going on there right now.
Yeah.
The escalation is just crazy. So it could be a wishful thinking. Like, what if the East was sort of like the worst thing about the politics and political situation in the East was just different businessmen fighting each other rather than the countries fighting each other, and people dying and everything. It's just some kind of business schemes going on, between different businessmen with different influence, including American ones, by the way. If you remember, right? Like Tom Hanks and Cranston, they were American businessmen doing things there in the East. So it could be, again, wishful thinking. It could be like I don't know, something satirical. I'm not sure in what way about the situation right now. It never happened before, but I don't know. Even knowing some information from other, film analysts, movie analysts, whatever, like reviewers, I don't know what to think. I don't know if I should judge that, considering what is going on at the moment, or I should sort of find some peace in the story. Like a better version of the current events.
What was your impression? How did you feel?
When I learned what that could mean, or just raw? I mean, just after the story.
Okay, both.
So raw, I was confused because, as I said, like style,
Yeah.
like the movie. Okay, so the first thing that I kind of got confused about is the pace of the movie. It was just too quick. Like things changing, happening, like even scenes like within every scene, like so quick. Like
Agree.
and a lot of characters which you were supposed to probably remember, but you just can't because it's just like things happening very quickly. Not a minute of kind of breathing in, breathing out. In my impression.
I agree. I found myself just having to watch really, really carefully and trying to like, yeah, something you can sometimes do. I know when you're studying and you have to watch and understand and like analyze. Yeah, I was doing that really fast and a lot of really packed with information or stuff going on. So yeah, agree.
And but at the same time, again, I'm a big fan of his style, so not like it's
Yeah.
pretty much the same here. So I like that part. He's keeping the bar up in terms of his style. Acting. I mean, I don't even have to say about that. I think seeing some new faces in his rank of actors, because most of them there already had experience working with Anderson. So it's always interesting to see some new faces, even if they are not actually young faces. Yeah, because Tom Hanks is relatively a new guy. He was in Asteroid City, now he's here, and you're like, okay, so like Tom liked Wes and Wes liked Tom. Nice. Bryan Cranston, same situation. Um,
I liked him, by the way. He doesn't have a big role in the movie, but he's super nice in this movie. I don't know it.
so this is what I also like about his movies, like uh, all of them. That even if the role is not big,
Yeah.
it's bright. Like you remember it. Like maybe we don't remember the names of all the actors and of course the names of all the characters, but you remember them. Like the image is there, right? All of them are very charismatic. There is like one, two, three kind of little details, moments that you would remember. Amazing,
Yes.
amazing how he can do this, right?
Yeah.
Because classically in movies, I mean, if it's a kind of third, fourth, fifth tier kind of character, they're just there for, I don't know, for some specific storytelling functions. They don't have to be bright. Here, it's like with his movies, it's a completely different story. I mean, it's just everyone is amazing.
Important.
Yeah. I mean, you can still grade them, sort of, right? I mean, like, oh, that was kind of usual. For example, Johansson in this story, she was like, yeah, I remember her, but even compared to Cranston's character, she was a little bit kind of bleaker. She was there for a certain purpose, pretty much.
I remember my impression is I was like, is it her real voice or is she making some accent? Because if it's an accent, it sounds kind of awkward to me. And I was like sitting and thinking, what's this accent? Did you have?
Yeah, I mean, she had an accent there. Yeah, she had to. It's just I don't remember
Which one is that?
her character. Like, I mean, she was one of the people who were expected to, become a partner in this Phoenician scheme, kind of, but she didn't. But I don't remember who she was, beside that. Cousin. Yeah, she was Zaza's cousin.
Yeah.
Hilda. Well, Hilda. So probably some Scandinavian kind of
Okay.
quasi-Scandinavian accent.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, yeah, like this is what I liked. The aesthetics, of the movie, just like in every project. I like that. Like certain palette, like this symmetry. Not symmetry. I mean, we keep saying symmetry, but it's just broader. It's just geometry of the frame, geometry of the locations. This couple of scenes with this bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom was
from
nice.
just like fitting the screen is was pretty pleasant. I really like the frame when Sister Liesel was waiting for her father, and Michael Cera's character was like there at the background, and we could see him through this hole in the furniture, like in the table.
I don't
and
remember.
and we couldn't just, it wasn't just like we could see him, but there was a dialogue between them. So like he was actually talking through this kind of thing. So I mean, like, I think geometrists or whatever they call themselves, they have multiple orgasms watching his movies, because again, it's not just about the symmetry. Sometimes it's just about the balance. It's asymmetrical, but it's balanced in this kind of like ways. And dialogues are nice.
Okay.
Yeah, could be nicer if they weren't so quick paced. I like the dialogues. This kind of repeating phrases, right? This kind of stuff. Coins do that sometimes. The latest thing that I watched by them was, "Oh brother, where are you?" Or yeah, I mean, where are thou? Whatever. And the raw impression was just a little bit confused. Yeah, I didn't like the pacing, and I didn't like that it was a little bit more difficult. Now that I know that it could be political, or maybe it's just very, very personal, yeah, a film kind of inspired by his father-in-law, I feel that it's just not him. Like, his previous movies were all about relationships. Yeah, just interpersonal relationships, typical topics, pretty much. What is the same? This movie actually made me realize that in maybe not all of, but most of, yeah, pretty much all of the movies that he made, maybe except those Roald Dahl's short movies, that in every movie he explores the topic of a dysfunctional father. If you think of it, the Grand Budapest Hotel, I'm not sure if there was something like that, but like in Asteroid City, it was not even one father, like not a very good father. In his like earlier movies, like The Aquatic Life with Zissou, like this dysfunctional fathers is pretty much the central topic there. So this movie again here, right, with Zaza, another dysfunctional father, but who kind of,
who's trying to make it up for the child.
it's interesting. Like, was it his father like that, or it's him? Like, or like Wes is a father like this. If he's a father, something, yeah, something that connects this project with all the previous ones, almost all the previous ones. So I don't know. It's just, like, there's this idea that with lapse of time, people become more and more themselves. People don't change in a typical way. They just more and more themselves. That's why, like, if you are grumpy, angry, maybe sometimes when you're young, you're gonna be the concentration of grumpiness and angriness when you're old, right? So maybe something like that happens with some directors, that they just become very immersed in their trademarks. Like, yeah, and with some directors that maybe is not very obvious, or maybe doesn't play a bad joke. But when you are such a when your style is so outstanding and so specific and so bright, like making even more bright, more specific, more outstanding, kind of makes it makes your movies a little bit difficult to watch, I guess.
That was my main kind of criticism of Wes, because I liked, somewhere in the beginning, I liked it was new, it was fresh, it was unusual, and you were like, wow, you can do that. Yeah. Yes, the symmetry, the frame, the behavior of the actors, many other things, colors, palettes, whatever. And then, when I watched something much later, yeah, I was like, is it Wes, or is it Wes making fun of himself? Is it Wes cosplaying himself? At this point, I was not sure. Like, there was too much. Yeah, the concentration was too much. If I don't know, I felt maybe because it was fresh, or maybe because there was not so much of it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But in the beginning, it was like, wow. But now it's like, oh my God, it's everywhere. Yeah. If you talk of Wes as this way he has with actors, what you said about working with them, yeah, then maybe okay, this is like another dimension of this style. This is what he does is amazing. You have to work really with the actors so they do the things they do in the movies. This is one thing, but having these yeah, frames and colors and all this stuff, for me it was, yeah, maybe this is something you can overdo, and this is what happened for me. Yeah, you have to have this balance and a harmony, and at some point in this movie I felt it was not there, a bit unbalanced for me.
Yeah, maybe too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like I'm still on the way to watch his like earlier works. The earliest one that I've watched so far is this Aquatic Life with Ziso, with Bill Murray in the lead, and it was I should say I think that it was not that Wes Anderson,
Yeah, that's my point.
even though there was this like little methods, I mean, little styles that he uses, like stop motion animation, for example. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, there was not a lot of like this kind of symmetrical, kind of geometrical things. I mean, to my mind, but the dialogues, the direction, the story in general, yeah, it was like 100% Wes Anderson, as I know him now, right? It's pretty much the same.
By the way, speaking of animation, there was one good thing that he did for me with Roald Dahl. It was the animation Fantastic Mr. Fox. This one was great.
This was amazing.
And
I
then
love
when
it.
when yeah, it is. But then when he came back to Roald Dahl and did what, yeah, he did a couple of short stories, as I told you. And one of them is actually one of my favorite stories, which I really recommend everyone to read, called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And the movie. I mean, I understand when you say that I don't like the adaptation because I imagined everything differently, but it's just, I didn't imagine it in the world of Wes Anderson. Sorry. I imagine it differently, so maybe that's because I like the book. I don't know, but Fantastic Mr. Fox is great. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
I mean, did you see how they were recording the voice?
Yeah.
That it was like, okay, so now they're like in the barn. So you're supposed to be in the barn. Like now they're outside, so we're gonna record that outside, not in the studio, which was very, very interesting. And it kind of made sense because when I was watching that, maybe for the first couple of times, loved that animation. I was like, something strange with sound. I mean, like, but then it kind of made sense when I learned that Clooney was actually like sitting on a motorcycle and shaking and like they were talking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love dogs. Also amazing animation there, actually. A little bit more complicated, kind of, but
What's the title?
so it's called Isle
Oh,
of
Isle of Dogs.
Dogs.
Yes, 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 of course. I went to the cinema for this one. Yes.
Yeah.
Also a very good one.
Yeah, and like
Absolutely.
Wes is there even in the title, like it's Isle, like island, like Isle of Dogs, but if you say that quickly, it's Isle of Dogs. Like, you know, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Still don't know what to think about this movie. Maybe I told you that I would rewatch it just to make sure, but I didn't have time for that. I really wanted to see some more Tom Cruise jumping roofs and everything. So, as for now, I think I like it more than Asteroid City. Because maybe I kind of read about it and now I kind of understand it.
Okay.
But Asteroid City was just too much. I mean, this podcast is not about Asteroid City, but that was just too much. I think it was just even too kind of it was more of too much of Wes Anderson, because at least here it's like this geometry maybe was overused, but in Asteroid City was like I just imagined him sitting down as like, okay, so what kind of styles I have used so far, let's put all of them in one movie.
Yeah.
So in Asteroid City is like it's a story within a story. There is this stop motion animation. There is the live action. Most of it is live action. There's gonna be a lot of dysfunctional fathers.
Okay.
It's gonna be full of actors that I love. Full of actors which I maybe will love in the future. So it was just a lot of like different things.
Everything Wes Anderson. Okay.
And everything Wes Anderson plus some idea which I still cannot wrap my head around. Like, what was that about? I don't know.
You know what I think? I have a strong like association with, I don't know, with food. For example, this is like some exotic dish, or maybe this dish is kind of specific. Maybe you only eat it in one restaurant. You can only have it in one place, or you can only have it in one day in a year. A special day, something your mom cooks only for your birthday. But then if you start eating it every day, 3 times a day, if you go to this restaurant every day and you start having it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're like, oh my God, I still love it, but I can't. It's strange. Yeah, same here. I think you need to watch a lot of different stuff. Maybe a lot of this stuff has to be like not very art house, not very Yorgos Lanthimos, maybe just kind of regular cinema, I don't know. And then once in a while you do Wes Anderson and you're like, wow, this kind of freshed me up. This, I don't know, strikes me as something very interesting. But you can't watch it all the time, and maybe you split it in 3 parts and watch it during a week or something.
Like you did.
I'm sorry. Like I did. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I just feel that this is something you have to approach carefully. Otherwise, you're gonna end up allergic to it. I don't know.
And a piece of advice for those who are maybe not familiar with Wes, I would recommend starting from like watching him in a chronological order of his filmography. Because if you watch the Phoenician Scheme now and then go back to, let's say, again the Aquatic Life with Ciso, with something Ciso, that's gonna be a lot of confusion for you at the very start. But if you kind of gradually go there, maybe watching, his movie like one a month, kind of maybe, that could prepare you, because like he was gradually more and more like this Wes Anderson. And, I think I can find a couple of excuses. Like, for me, there's only one director with just a little bit of an exception in terms of that everything that he did was just amazing. And he never uh, did any kind of detours or lost his mind or whatever. And for me, that's Tarantino. A little bit of an exception is Jackie Brown, because it's not it's not a very popular movie, but it's a good one. It's just not very popular. Hmm.
I just watched it not so long ago. I don't know how it happened, but I loved it so much.
I love that too, because I love that too, but in what context? Before that, I had watched everything Tarantino did.
Okay.
Everything. And then I was like, oh, there's this movie that I never heard about, Jackie Brown. So maybe...
I think that was also the reason I watched it.
Yeah, and I was like, so maybe it's not good because people don't talk about it. Yeah, and I watched it and I was like, but this one is good. And I was kind of surprised why it's not, talked about. Even he doesn't talk about it.
I think what he does is he has a strategy, because he had like this is like my I'm trying to say that he approaches his like the thing he does with some kind of strategy, and it's not like Wes, who I felt was like just getting crazier and crazier gradually, and like,
Probably.
I'm gonna do the most Wes Anderson craziest stuff of Wes Anderson, something like that. And Tarantino is just like, so now I'm doing this, then I'm doing that, and
it's like, yeah, Tarantino does things but the book, but his own book,
Yeah, sure,
probably.
sure.
He's got a very strong opinion on filmography in general. He's got very strong taste.
Yeah.
Right. Wes, I mean, we're saying that he's probably just kind of forcing this kind of things, but in one of the latest interviews, I think, because of the Phoenician Scheme premiere, he was asked about, like, what is it? Like, how do you do this? And his answer, I'm not sure if we should believe him.
Okay,
really,
but what did he say?
because it doesn't feel like... So he said that, I started a new project and I approached this project as a new one from scratch, let's say that. And it's not like that, according to his words, it's not that he kind of forcefully apply things, And I was like, reading this, I think, or watching that interview, I was like, come on, who are you trying to kind of, fuck with? Because every frame, I mean, as complicated and sophisticated his style is, every frame is a whole chain of decisions. Like, this color should be here, this, the blocking is going to be this, blocking is at the position of the actors, blocking should be this, this table is going to be here, the camera is this, It's a lot of decisions. It cannot just happen like, oh, sorry, I tripped over and now I've got this super symmetrical frame, right? It doesn't happen by accident. But he's like, well, I guess, everyone... Oh, I'm trying to do this mannerisms. He doesn't speak like this, people. So he was like, I guess it's just like everyone has their own handwriting.
Yes, absolutely.
So like if you just write something down, again and again and again, it's going to be more or less the same handwriting. So he compared this with his style, that, I just make a movie and it just happens like this. But I was like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, I don't know everything about
Mm-hmm.
film production, but I know just enough to know that, like, again, like every frame is just, it's a lot of decisions which are discussed with a lot of different people. So maybe he said that from the point of view that this is his vision, like this is how he tells stories in general, and he just doesn't know how to do that differently. But at the same time, if you watch his earlier movies, it was a little bit different. It was just a little bit more kind of traditional, and this geometry and color palette and the pacing was just, sometimes you could kind of recognize, like, oh, okay, so this is the Wes Anderson that I know since Grand Budapest Hotel, for example. So love it or hate it. That's my conclusion.
I actually, I also liked what you said in your blog, where you post just stuff about the movies you watch. Can you tell us once again what you said?
So let me just open my blog then. So skip a couple of posts.
You made a short note about this movie.
So let me try to translate that, because my blog, people, is in Russian. So my opinion that there is this trend, it's still going on, I think, playing with video generating AIs or image generating AIs, that at some point people would ask, mostly ChatGPT, to create a picture, or just they would give them an original photo and they would ask it to recreate the photo. And that would recreate a photo, but with some kind of changes. Like some things are just too much of what was in the original, if you catch my meaning. And then you do this again, like with the newly generated photo. You ask ChatGPT to recreate this one, the second one, and you do this again and again and again. And with time, like the last thing that you got is super different from what you got in the original, but it's like a concentration of little things. Like the color is more saturated. If it's a photo of a person, for example, the facial features are much more saturated. For example, a typical white Caucasian can become a black person easily, just after 6 or 7 times of this processing. So, and it seems like Wes Anderson is doing the same with his filmography. Like he's fallen in love with his style, I guess, maybe, or he's just getting, like how, because of different disorders in your body, there's this condition when your tissues get kind of calcinated, like your tissues become a bone, like all the muscles and everything. So it seems like this is what is going on with Anderson, that he's just calcinating. I mean, like he's whatever. Maybe I'm wrong with the medical terminology here, but like it's become more stony, more like unflexible. That he's not ready to do something different. But we'll see. I mean, he's still young, even as a professional. For a director. So maybe something will change in the future. I'm not sure if anything else has been already announced by him, but I'm pretty sure we will see something in 2-3 years, and we'll see what's gonna be there. I don't know. Still love him. I mean, it's just 3 latest things kind of are a little bit more confusing, but
yeah.
I've seen most of his works, and again, most of them are amazing. I haven't seen maybe 3 movies or something from earlier years. Yeah, I mean, as I said already, love it or hate it. And there are going to be a lot of reasons for both sides.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that what you said about these using uh, generating these images. Uh, there is also an effect that they have if you like use this same image for generating a new one. At some point in the end, you're gonna end up with like a very crazy image, as we have something that's looks like psychedelic art or something like that. You're gonna end up with a very mind blowing with a mind blowing image. For me, like Wes Anderson is on this kind of path. I mean, if you create every new movie making it more Wes Andersonish and more and more and more, you're gonna end up with something that's just, I don't know, making the audience just go crazy while watching. I don't know.
It's just gonna be a perfect picture of a circle, like the most symmetrical.
Oh yeah, and you have to and you have to watch it for 1 hour.
For 1 hour, yeah, and the name of the circle is Bill Murray. Yeah.
Okay, Wes Anderson, if you're listening to us, you can buy this idea.
Yeah, contact, yeah, me or Xenia. We're ready to sell it to you for 50 rubles. So,
Okay. Agreed.
yeah. Let me just repeat myself for the third time. Love it or hate it. Tell us what you think if you watched the movie. Tell us what you think about Wes Anderson in general. If you love him, hate him, loathe him, I don't know, adore him, tolerate him. I think in my case I'm just 60-40, kind of, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I will probably go back to this movie, rewatch it, and maybe write an article on my blog about it, because I want to rewatch it after, like, you know, having done the research. Maybe something will click. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Do that. And I'll watch something else.
Right. So, do you want to do your own conclusion?
No, not really. I'm happy that I watched it. I'm happy we discussed it. It was an interesting one. I'm happy we remembered some of his animation works. I would definitely rewatch that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, if you are contemplating watching it or not, I would say yes.
Yeah, do it.
But I would say, like, read about what it's based on first. Probably. Read a couple of articles, maybe. I mean, you can spoil yourself with a couple of moments there, but it's such a story that, you know, I mean, it's more about. Also, what I wanted to add, that can probably maybe explain something, at least a little portion of the craziness going on in this movie, that the direction is by Wes, but he was co-writing the story. He co-wrote it with some guy named Coppola. Not sure if related to the Coppola. So, because I think most of my problems with this movie is with the story, so not exactly with the direction. So maybe that's I don't know. Maybe it somehow influenced my impression. So, but again, just prepare yourself. Especially if you haven't seen anything by Wes before, watch maybe the most mainstreamy works like Asteroid City, the Grand Budapest Hotel, the Moonrise Kingdom, amazing. My most favorite one by Wes, by the way. Maybe Fox, fantastic Mr. Fox. Also, just for the sake of diversity. And then you're ready to, for the Phoenician Scheme, I guess. We were not, but maybe you will be. And okay, I guess that's it about the movie. And again, this is the last episode for the season. As of now, we haven't discussed anything about what we're going to do next and when, so be ready for maybe some long break. I will try, maybe, not maybe, let me give you a promise that's going to help me. I will keep maybe writing something in our Telegram blog. Maybe I will kind of repeat, some opinions from my own blog, but in English, about something that I watch, because I'm on a very intensive streak of watching a lot of different stuff. So that would be nice to share with even more people about what I do. And I guess as soon as we know what we're gonna do, if we're gonna change anything or not change anything, or maybe say "fuck you, we're done," we will tell you prior, um, prior whatever we decide to do.
Yep.
So thank you everyone for having watched and listened, mostly, listened to our podcast. Thank you for keeping,
Yes.
that's a little bit of a, please, keeping listening to us. We're doing this for you, mostly. So yeah, I mean, amazing.
Yes.
10 episodes.
Thank you so much, guys, for having listened to us. And wow, yeah, 10 episodes. How cool is that? It is.
Right. It's a sort of a threshold, right? So the next one is 20 and up until whatever. So
Okay.
have a good day, evening, or morning, dinner, breakfast, supper, if you still have them. And see you in the next season.
Yes, see you.